You are listening to the Wyn Thomas File.
And time for another guest on the Wyn Thomas File, and that is Mark Hughes and his single Crimes of Heart. Mark, thanks for your company this afternoon.
Oh, my pleasure, Wyn. Thanks for having me.
So, songwriting conjures up the spirit of Gordon Lightfoot and Neil Diamond. Not bad artists to follow, is there?
No, not at all. A few people have said that a number of my songs are Neil Diamond-like. And in actual fact, I had a song a couple of years ago which was bought from me for use in the pilot of a US TV program, and the reason it was really because of that kind of Neil Diamond sound that I seem to get in some of my songs.
Right, okay. So you retired in 2020, so that gave you an opportunity to pursue more singing and more recording?
Yeah, that's right. I retired. I had a long business career. 2020 was 37 years since I'd started my own business, and yeah, that gave me an opportunity to pursue a number of goals that I had in my life, which work, family, and everything else, as you probably know, don't allow you to do. So yeah.
So how long have you been singing and performing then before the retirement?
I had been. In my 40s. I started to perform quite regularly, and I wrote a song. I got asked to write a song and perform at an event at Wembley Arena called Peace on Earth Day, and it was only about 18 months or so after I'd actually began performing in public, so it was a big deal. It was about 6,500 people, which is pretty amazing. And the organisers asked me to write the song for it, and from that I then began to perform at a lot of spiritual events around the world, and that grew again from 2001 when I played. I wrote a song for an event called World Angel Day. Which was the song was the subject of a program on Sky Television hosted by Gloria Hunniford called Angels. I wrote the song, the Angel Song, and that got distributed worldwide. And I kind of followed it around a bit. Played in America, played it all over the UK, played in Ireland. Actually performed that song in a church in Hollywood, believe it or not. So I've had a reasonably interesting career, but was never able to really pursue it because of my work. I had a group of companies and hundreds of employees, and that took up most of my time.
So how do you write then? Do you write on a guitar? Do you write on a piano? How do you write your songs?
Yeah, I write on guitar. Initially, I can play a few chords on the piano, but it's not my instrument. And I work very closely with a phenomenally talented music engineer who's worked with pretty much everybody you can think of. I've been working with him for 25 years, since the Angel Song in 2001. That was the first thing we did together. And his name's Pete Booker. And just a few months ago, he dropped in, because he's not boastful in any way. He's a bit of a shrinking violet, and he dropped into the conversation when I was working with Justin Timberlake. And so I went, "What, you've worked with Justin Timberlake? That's on top of everybody else that he's ever mentioned." See, he's an absolutely brilliant keyboard player and engineer, up there with the best. So we managed to get stuff out of my songs, turn them into, and my compositions, because I compose music as well as write songs. I've just written a film score for someone for a film being made in the US later this year, and we just managed to turn it into something that people seem to really like, so it's great.
Yeah, I mean, you've done lots of things. When you've written poetry, you're a sportsman as well. Let's look at some of those things you've done. So you're writing a children's book, The Tale of Ferdinand Frog. Tell us about that.
Yes, okay. Well, I've always written poetry since I was at school. And when our eldest daughter was probably about 4 or 5 years old, so quite a long, about a quarter of a century now, I wrote. I started to write this story because she liked frogs. So I began to write a poem called The Tale of Ferdinand Frog, and it turned into a story, and it ended up being something like 48 or 50 verses of 8-line rhyming poetry, which I then had illustrated. Again, as I was coming up towards retirement, I got the story illustrated, had some book. I was lucky enough to own my own printing company, so that kind of helped. But we printed about 70 books, and I sent them all off to as many publishers as I could find. I ended up with a couple of offers, and it got published the year I retired in 2020. But I've written a further 5 rhyming children's stories, all using Ferdinand Frog as a character in some way or another. And they're all very moralistic. They're all about, the power of love and being good rather than bad. So, and I'm currently searching for a different publisher to publish those. So, yeah.
Right.
Sports.
Okay. Sports, yeah. You've played football for England 26 times. I haven't seen you, but I'm not disbelieving you.
Okay. Well, since you've had that information, I've now played 31 internationals.
Oh, right, okay.
Slightly out of date. And last Thursday, you may have seen it in the media. It was quite well publicised on television and on radio. England veterans played Germany veterans in a commemorative match to commemorate the 1966 World Cup win at Wembley, and we kicked off to the minute 60 years after the World Cup win. Obviously, as you'll know, it's the only time England have ever won it. So yeah, I've now played 31 times. I trialled for England veterans in May 2024. I played a year for the over 70s, and I've played just over a year now in the England 75s. And I've been to 2 World Cups. The first one was in Cardiff in 2024, and we got to the England 70s team got to the semi-final, and the England 75s, which I now play for, won the competition, but I missed out on that because I was too young, believe it or not. How can you be too young at 74? And, and then last year we went to Japan to the World Cup finals, and we got to the final where sadly we lost to the Germans.
Oh.
So it was sweet revenge on Thursday because we beat them, but we only beat them on penalties. But a win is a win, so that's good. And we there's quite a big rivalry in veterans football between England and Wales, and we played Wales how many times? I think 3 or 4 times in the last year. Once in the World Cup where we beat them in the semi-final, and since then we played them in an annual trophy game. It's for a shield called the Aneurin Bevan Shield.
Oh, Aneurin Bevan, yeah.
Yeah, named after Nye Bevan.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we won that the last 2 times. But they're good. Wales have a very, very good veterans side.
Well, you could. I mean, you tell me your father was from Ferndale, so you could have played for Wales as well, couldn't you?
I could. I kind of think it's cheating. I was born in Kensington.
Oh, right. Okay.
In London. Yeah. So and I support Chelsea, and that's my reason really for playing. I've lived my whole life in England. I used to go back to Ferndale regularly with my dad, and I remember. He was down the mines when he was 14, so he's a Welshman for me. Was a Welshman through and through.
Absolutely, yeah. So Ferndale, the Rhondda Valley, yeah, indeed, yeah. Let's go back to the album. The songs come from the album Crimes of the Heart. How many tracks are on the album?
Okay, the album itself has 14 tracks altogether. Crimes of the Heart is the first one. The the vinyl version, which is available, or will be available on August the 28th when the record is released, that only has 10 on, because there's this technical issue with the amount of tracks or the amount of time on a vinyl record, as you probably know.
Yeah.
The CD itself has 14 tracks, and they'll all be available to download from all well-known streaming platforms.
Okay.
Sound like an ad.
Let me just ask you about one track on that album, which is to do with Elton John, isn't it? Connected to Elton John in some way, or Bernie Taupin?
Yeah, it was heavily influenced by Tiny Dancer, which is actually my favourite song. I think it's a masterpiece. Tiny Dancer, I think, is about 6 minutes long, and the track on there, Forevermore, is a little longer. It's about 7 minutes. Very, it's highly orchestrated. So there's a lot of strings and piano and everything on it. What I love about Tiny Dancer is that it tells this story, but it's effectively 3 songs really woven into one.
Yeah.
So I've had it in my mind for a number of years to try and emulate that, not copy the song in any way. It's nothing. There's no similarity, and unless you knew the influence through me, nobody would ever relate Forevermore to Tiny Dancer. But that was the point. It was trying to, if you like, compose 3 different themes and weave them together into one story.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is based on sort of personal experience. It's a love song, but also it fits in nicely to the Crimes of the Heart theme, because it is also a song of probable betrayal. You know, the singer suspects that his girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, whatever, is going to leave him, and proclaiming his forever love.
Well, that's marvellous. Well, thanks so much for being my guest today. It's been an absolute delight to talk to you. We're going to obviously play the track Crimes of Your Heart.
Thank you very much. That's brilliant. Thanks.
I could be guilty of crimes of the heart. Guess you could charge me with tearing us apart. I hold my hands up just one more time. I stand accused of losing my mind. I won't be pleading innocence or insanity. I might be asking for you to pardon me. I did it wrong, I know, time and again. So many times it's hard to remember when. I hang my head in shame just one more time, and I'll plead guilty to losing my mind. I won't be pleading innocence or insanity. I might be asking for you to pardon me, because I know the crime that I'm most guilty of is nothing you can feel or hold, nothing you can touch, nothing you can charge me for or put me behind bars. The crime that I'm most guilty of is loving you too much. In the great scheme of things, it might not seem a lot, but this love we had was was everything I got. So I admit to you, I threw it all away. Guilty's charged, that's all I gotta say. I won't be pleading innocence or insanity. I might be asking for you to pardon me, because I know the crime that I'm most guilty of is nothing you can feel or hold, nothing you can touch, nothing you can charge me for.